So now we have some questions here already, and I know some people still have questions. So you can type in your questions or unmute yourself to ask your question. So one of the question here now is from Gbemi James, which says, "What if publication in art study, art copy, not online?" So that means there is no link for your. You still put it if you have publication in art copy, but it's not online. That means you don't have a DOI or a link for them to be able to follow through. But if you are going through, I know this person is a Nigerian, if you are going through FSB, that still counts for publication because they won't open whatever you have written online. They just want to see an evidence that you truly have one. So you can just put it in Commonwealth application without putting the DOI. So you can still attach that to it. I don't know now, Femi, you might be able to answer that. For them to tell people to upload their references now, do they also tell people to upload their publications directly, or you have to just write the reference?
Okay, yeah, I think there's nothing like such uploading your publication, and just like you said, I think the publication is just to, I mean, it's part of your academic merit. You know,
Yeah.
if even if it is not online, and I think the way they worded the statement, if it is online, like something like a DOI, the digital number, you know, you
Mhm.
can actually add it. But if it is not there, I think it's also wise to add it. And I think those who would actually want to know, do you have this, would perhaps be the FSB. I mean, those who want to
Yeah.
verify primarily. So please add it. I mean, it's not a crime to add it.
Thank you very much, Femi. I went through my application now. I saw that I included some publication, which is actually conference papers that were not in soft copy. So I didn't put any DOI or any link, but I still included it in my application. So that is very possible. It's very possible for you to put in that. And for those of us that even if it's not peer reviewed publication, you can still put it instead of allowing it empty. But if you have other publications, you might not want to put probably your blog post or publications that are not peer reviewed. But if you don't have, it's better than putting it there instead of leaving it empty, instead of just leaving it blank, like, oh, no publication at all. That's for PhD. For masters, it's not important at all. It's just an addition if you have your publication. And like we heard from Annette now, Annette don't even have a publication and it got nominated, but that's because the nominating agency does not require that. So that means Commonwealth too does not require that. And we might say it's favor, yeah, it's favor because I grew to think or to know, if not for people like Annette, to think you cannot get a Commonwealth PhD without a publication. But now we can see we have, so that's about publication. I believe we'll be able to answer your question, Bemi James. Can someone with a master's still apply with another master's, but in a different field? Please, can you clarify this your question? Do you mean someone that have already had a master's now wanting to apply again, or you mean different admission letters, like different field of study in the same application?
So I was asking, for
Okay.
example, I have a master's already. Maybe I have a master's in international relations, and then I'm thinking of going deep into a master's in education. Can I actually still apply for a Commonwealth scholarship, and do I have to make my other masters known?
Annette, will you answer that or I should answer?
Okay, we can both answer. I will tell you what I do know. Yes, you can do apply for that master's, but the Commonwealth indicates that explain to us why you want that second master's. The good thing is you select something that is related to what you did for your master's. If you did master's in international relations, then there is no way you're going to apply for a master's in biology. Well, that will be confusing to me as as a person who is going through the application, unless you have really showed to me a very strong link between national relations and the biology and how that's going to solve some problems in your community. But yeah, that's what I know. Abby, you can add on that.
Oh, thank you very much. Commonwealth have actually written it there. that they don't sponsor another master's degree, but they now kept an additional clause, except if you can defend the reason why you need the second master's. If I'm to make that kind of application, if it's not so important or I don't have anything to defend why I truly need a second master's, it will be better to just be silent about it. I don't know. I know it's not ethical.
Yeah, yeah. If you
I know
think
it's not
that,
ethical, but it's better instead of, yeah. That's what I think.
I would go with your answer. If I think that I can't really defend this thing, I better lie. Anyway, I don't recommend lying, but I did. I will never know.
Thank God to say something as well. Femi,
Yeah,
please.
I think I have an experience with a fellow who had a master's. Um, well, he had a master's then in Nigeria, and he applied for another master's that was shared, by the way, Commonwealth shared. Uh, he was actually selected over us. I mean, who even had some bit of academic. He was actually selected over. Um, so I think since it's actually two side, it might actually help it can actually help you. You just have to tell them this is how why you're doing it. And I also have read about a Commonwealth shared scholar who, at the end of the day, still went again to apply for distance learning masters again, and she got it. I mean, same in the UK. So I think it depends on how you actually phrase or defend or put up your argument. Please, yeah.
So the first person now, Femi, but the person indicates it there that, oh, he or she have a master's already or in process of having one.
No,
Or
it was indicated. It was indicated.
so there are two sides to the coin. So if you don't have genuine reason, probably you are working on something that requires that additional knowledge in another field, then probably you can give it a shot. But if you are working on international relation, you are doing something related to international relation, and you also you have a master's there already, and you also want an additional master's in international relation again, except if there's something the university you are going for is doing different that you want to really learn, it's up to you. But that's what I would do. If I can't defend myself well, I'd rather be silent about it. I think it's up to you and your intuition. Just go with what comes to your mind.
I wanted to add something there. For those who are, Femi mentioned something very important, especially for shared, because the masters, the application for now does not go through the university.
Yeah.
Some people might not understand the importance of having another master's already, because most of the masters, you'll have that research bit. So if you apply through the university, if it's shared, and the university notices that you have another master's, they will assume you have some research experience,
Yeah.
writing skills. So they were like, this person is far better. For shared, I advise you mention that. Femi mentioned this. Yeah, I do strongly think that they will think you are far better at writing, research, and all that.
That's
So,
true.
yeah.
Ernest, you're very, very right. We have to think about the dynamics of these two. For Commonwealth Share, the universities want the best to come to them as well. They are not really interested, not like they're not interested, but they want the best students in their university. So you having another master's, having all the experience is like a plus to them, like someone that already has stuff coming to their university. This route is another route entirely. This is about Commonwealth now. They just want people, they want to invest in people that probably don't have the opportunity, not like they want to re-educate you over and over. So we have to put that one into cognizance as well. Yeah, that's true. Then Mudime mentioned that, please, can you elaborate on good tips to write a good letter to the nominating agency? Can you elaborate on good tips? They have the nominating agencies already. Most of them, the first thing you need to go is to go to their site, check the eligibility criteria. Do you fit in? If you fit in, good. If you don't fit in, though I wouldn't advise you to apply to them. They have the selected countries. If your country is part of those people that can, you have that already. Then if they have additional criteria, like for disability now, for instance, it has to be someone that have one form of disability or the other, and also what you are doing must be related to solving issues around or making the life of disabled people easier. So you can go through those criteria. Do I have this? For foreign, I have to be female, I have to be Africans. Do I have that? If you have it, then most of them have a place where you can contact someone. Like Farway, they have the list. Like for aliases have the list and the link to their country organization, member organization. So there will be somewhere you can an email address you can write to. And if you are writing to them, it's like you are sending an email to a professor. Just make it introduce yourself. My name is this. This is what I've studied before. This is what I intend to study. I intend to select your organization as a nominating agency. I've gone through your criteria and I saw that I have all the criteria that you need to be nominated. So let them know and you're going to get the response. It's just as simple as that. No, I'm very sure the nominating agency will, no, they won't except for their own country like FSB. FSB, I don't think FSB is going to respond to you. I don't know about other countries. I don't think, but you can give it a try. I don't know about this year. Probably some things have changed. But you have all the details you need on their site. So you can just make simple email, introduce yourself, tell them you've gone through their site. This is why you want them to be your nominating agency. So just make it simple. It's nothing extreme or serious. Yes. For FSB, you don't have to write. For some of these governments, you don't have to write. You don't have to come for the interview. FSB, they just make. Sorry, I'm just emphasizing on FSB. And one more thing about FSB, be on the lookout. They don't come out loud when it comes to their interview. So a lot of people missed their interview last year, yearly like that, because they don't announce it. They don't make it loud and put it everywhere to let people know that they should come for an interview. So you will be the one to always check their website, like probably on a weekly basis, to know when you are to go for the interview. So you don't need to write a letter for this kind of, but for the non-government organizations and probably the university, you have to write them. Universities, you don't even need to write. You need to approach those people in charge, because for you to come through university, that means you're already a staff of the university. So I don't know if you have any other contribution, Annette, Femi.
Regarding that, I have not written any letter to the nominating bodies. I think Harry doesn't need one, or maybe my member organization solved everything. I don't know how they did it because I never wrote anything. But somebody asked, please, I am worried. Please, can you elaborate me more on how to write a good letter to the nominating agencies that I can be nominated, please?
At that point of writing letter, your letter is not your application. So your letter is not going to determine if they are going to select you or not. Your letter is just for you to be able to let them know you want to select them, and for them to now tell you what to do. Like for now, for instance, you are required to send an email, and upon sending the email, they are going to acknowledge and send you a list of the documents you have to send across to them. So Farway will give you that. So it is what they require you to send that they are going to use to nominate you, not the letter you've sent. And I'm sure it will be almost the same for all the other nominating agency. It's not that's not your application. That's not what they're looking out for. That is just a platform of you expressing yourself that, oh, look, I want to. Then they will respond back. If they don't respond back, send them a reminder. If there is a number there that you can call them directly. If they don't, for them to tell you the things you are supposed to send across to them, is the documents that they're going to judge if they're going to nominate you or not the letter you are writing to them. That is not part of your application. That's just an information. I think someone is raising hand.
Yeah, James.
I just wanted to say that I sent an email yesterday to Powell and I got a response. So just send an email and they will actually send you a document containing all the requirements, and that's all.
Oh, thank you very much for the confirmation. Yeah, because I sent mine 2 years ago and it's still the same. And Bemi, can you tell us if there's an earlier deadline? Because I know They used to have earlier deadline.
Okay, there's no early deadline. It's still the same date, 17th, but you should send it on the 17th or before 17th. If not,
Oh, cons-
they won't consider you for the application for the nomination. So you have to send it back to those emails either before the 17th or on the 17th. Thank you.
oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I believe that's very clear because Fawe having an earlier deadline means your deadline for Commonwealth to have been brought forward because you cannot apply to Fawe without applying to Commonwealth. So if they are saying, for instance, their deadline is 7th of October, that means your application deadline before is 7th of October for the applying through them. So that's a good one that they are now on the same page with Commonwealth. Yes, I think they want to come in again. Maybe, yeah, you have the floor, please.
Yeah, okay. So I also want to talk about FSB as well. They actually will not pick your calls, but they have their requirement on their site. So you can just check on their news update and you see their requirements there.
Okay, good. Thank you very much for that. Let me chip in something. I don't know if I'm going to have another when it's time for the interview about FSB. Don't follow their requirements alone. Go extra. On a lot of things they were asking for on the day of interview were things that were not listed. What they listed was just about 5 things. Thank God I was being extra. Pack all your, they won't tell you to pack all your academic prices, all your award, pack everything. They won't ask you, oh, come on. When I went for the interview, something happened, which I find quite interesting, is that all you need was they told you to bring an admission letter. But on getting there, they were asking for my section, which is access, inclusion, and the panel. They were asking each of us, we're entering in group of 4. They were asking each one of us, like, how many admissions do you have? So if you have 3 admissions, they'll give you 3. If you have 2 admissions, you have 2. If you have 1 admission, you have 1. I felt bad that day because I had 3 PhD admissions, but I went to just 2, and they gave me 2 for that. I felt like I've lost 1 point because I knew we're many, and I didn't want to lose any point because I know losing 2-3 points is a lot. So if they've said something like, oh, be extra, bring me more application, I would have even applied to more schools and have more applications put there that they request for. So when you are going for your interview, please be extra. For FSB, pack everything everything you submitted. Even if they didn't list it, they just wrote something like 4 things. Please, I'm talking about FSB now. Yeah, thank you for that. And put your eyes on their website to know when the interview will be. Their interview with them most likely after the deadline. I think the nominating agency had to submit their list December. They were not specific about the December. They used to be specific about the dates. So before that they are going to organize their interview. So please keep an eye if you can do it every 2 days, because they just announced their interview for next week and they schedule based on your geographical location, like your geopolitical zones. So you don't want to miss any date. So please keep an eye. Immediately the Commonwealth Scholarship ends on the 17th of October. Keep an eye on it. And yeah, I think we have another question here.
Before we move on, Abby, just wanted to mention that this is really, really simple, but for nominating agencies, make sure that you see the eligibility, because when I was in Uganda, Fawe was complaining that they also receive applications from boys, yet they nominate girls. So just check the eligibility.
Thank you. Is there another question? Maybe we can stop recording.
What is excellence for Commonwealth PhD scholarship application, for example? Because in the UK, unlike Nigeria, in the UK, we know they have they grade masters basically. There is a merit of 69 and there's a merit of 62. All of them are very, but we all know that an AC that has 68 and an AC that scores 63, like they are way different. The difference between them isn't 6. Do they because I'm afraid there might be that kind of maybe victimization of people who had their previous degrees from a UK university. Maybe they might not be as competitive, even when perhaps they might even have had better, skill development while they were doing their masters, but just because of the grading system in the UK that has made them to look not so reputable or investment worthy. Okay.
Thank you very much for those questions. For those people that have studied here before on a funding and want to do another master's, there's a place that might play against them, especially if they've not gone back to their own country before to do something. Which is, I think, the second application page will ask you university outside your home country and previous scholarships. So that you are required to say, oh, this is what I've learned, this is what I've done. So they are not going to castigate you based on that. Like my own, I also had a UK education already, but now it's going to play like, oh, this one that you've gotten before, what have you been able to do? So if you have done something in your developmental based on the study you've had before, then they will see you as worthy of the investment. They will see you as someone that they are, like I said, the first point I gave was make sure your application, like, it doesn't show like you are the only one that's going to benefit from this thing. You are going to pass it forward. And one of the things the places where they're going to do that is things you have done in time past. So if you've studied now on scholarship, on funding before, what have you now done after that one? How have you impacted your community? If you can defend that, if you can put that one into play, it makes it like, oh, this person is good. We can't always consider this person again. And with that, I want to make mention of something about, I think I've seen a couple of people getting Commonwealth shared, Commonwealth Masters, and now having Commonwealth PhD. I've seen a couple go through, I can count about 10 people like that, more than 10, that have gotten that. Like, because they know that, yes, we've invested in this person before. And from this essay, we are saying this person, with what we've invested in before, they were able to do this. That means if we are putting this much again, they will be able to give us more. So if the person can show what he or she have done with a master, not like, oh, I've just studied, I've gotten the free education, and I can't state anywhere, this is what I've done based on the one they've given me before. This is where I've been through, this is the people I've helped. Then that will be a case of, no, we can't trust this person. This person is just all about himself or herself alone. So that's what I'm going to say about the first one. And the second part, which I frankly understand, about the merit, like someone that has 69 and we are saying Commonwealth like first class, Commonwealth like distinction. That is where things like writing it explicitly, like you graduated as the best student in your department, despite the fact that you didn't finish with the distinction, you graduated as a second top 3 in your department. Fine, you have a merit, but you are telling them, look, I know it's because the academic system in my own university is very extreme and it's not like people just have distinction like that. That is right. But still, I'm still ahead of my class. So people going for PhD, they don't request for your, even for FSB, they won't request you to like, what do you have in your master's? They didn't ask that. The only thing they want to know that, do you have a master's degree? They don't ask for qualification at that stage. It's only for the BSc level they ask for your qualification. You can just tell them there, like you graduated at probably the top 3, probably you are the third or the top 5 in your class. Like that shows that yes, even if you are just 10 in the class, you saying you are top 5 in the class, they might assume that probably you guys are a class of 60. So just putting yourself like selling yourself like, oh, I'm not an average student, I'm still up there. That one can help instead of writing it explicitly like, oh, I've graduated with a merit or something. I don't know, Annette, do you want to say something? Femi, do you want to say something? Yeah.
For me, what I can say from your first part is, I think it's okay if you show them that you can do something. And if you're going to do that, make sure that your work is seen. If you're not using social media, they will never know. Tag them. Even if it's so tiny, tag them, because I got followed by the Commonwealth because of the work that I was doing. You know, when you are doing your master's here, you don't actually have to wait to graduate to do something. You can be doing something while you're doing your master's, however tiny it might be. You tag them. So I started donating some things to schools before I created my own scholarships for primary kids. And I used to tag them. You know, those things are very tiny. They can be done by everybody. By the way, make noise about them so that I can be seen. You think I would go to this scholarship for PhD again? Make noise about the small things you do. It will help one day, honestly.
I think you're talking to me directly with this.
So people should make some noise.
I think you're talking to me directly.
But I'm not doing anything meaningful, honestly. It's so tiny. Only £8 per pupil. Make noise, guys. That's how you're gonna be seen. For them, it's huge. To me, I'm like, come on, I just need a scholarship from you, so let me just do this. And
Thank you for this.
and if you are applying for the second one, choose something that your country is suffering from. Just because you want to be in engineering, it doesn't mean that those are the current problems your country is prioritizing. So if you're applying through the Ministry of Education, they work with the government. The government will say, we want students in this field, this field, this field. So check what your government is more concerned about. You might want something, maybe AI, but for example in Uganda, are we really, focusing so much on AI? It's important, but maybe if somebody is working on maybe hunger, poverty, maybe if you are from Congo, talking about how to solve wars, conflicts and all that might be more important than AI, unless you want to solve wars using AI, something like that. So if you are multidisciplinary, try to go for something that your country is complaining about often in the news.
And I also want to chip in this. Some countries actually have their priority, like Kenya now, for instance, they have 5 priority courses. I think agriculture, I know agriculture is there, and 4 others. So despite the fact that your courses might be in line with what Commonwealth is talking about or wants under their development team, it might not be what your country wants. So Annette is very right on that. So you might want to choose something that it's really needed. A country that is already food secure does not need someone coming to be like, I want to solve problem of food security. It's a country that needs that is undergoing war, does not need someone telling them something. What they need majorly is about how to solve this conflict on ground, how to end this war. So they might want to prioritize someone that is going for a study in that.
Sorry. I just quickly have a question. You have experience with FSB. I haven't. You mentioned something around grading points. What are the things that they grade? Because as it is right now, I'm not sure I'm going to get 3 admissions before the essay. And what are the things you need to know, one need to know, and then you prepare, in terms of knowing you have your points and you can be able to. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Like I said, I was thinking of probably doing another webinar for people attending FSB interview. But I can just give you some things they classify you based on your geographical location. So most times, Southwest will be with another one, 2 geographical locations, geographical zones for the same day. And you're expected to bring all your transcripts, your certificates. So you have to get that one. Your academic prices, like I said, they won't indicate that you have to bring it, but they have a section for grading, because you can literally see what they are grading you on. You are sitting directly in front of them, and everything they are writing, you can see. You can see your score. You can see the score of those people that have gone before you. So it's something that is really said. Your publication as well is important for PhD with FSB. Your publication is very important to them. And also, they'll ask you questions about what do they call this? Current affairs. They show that it's something that is very, very easy. The question they asked me was, what's the full meaning of WTO? Who is the Director General of WTO? So it was very straightforward. And that was when they just newly elected Okonjo-Iweala. So it's something that is so relatable. And some, not all now, in my own section, they didn't really ask a lot of details. They just asked, what do you want to research on? Why? But some people in other sections like science and technology, they go into details, like explain how this is going to be beneficial to Nigeria. Like, what do you really want to do? They just want you to talk out, because they are not reading. At that point, they are not reading your application. They just want to know, what was your grade? They score you based on your grade. They want to see. They score you based on your publication. They want to see. And the one that is funny that I said was about the application, was about the admission letter. They wrote they bring admission letter. They just want to want the graded admission. You have 2 mark. If you have 3 admission. So if you can get multiple admission for FSB, please take everything along. So if they need 3, give. I think 3 is the maximum. 3 is the maximum mark. So if you have 3, give it to them if that's what they want.
And thank you very much. We're looking forward to it.
Oh, I think our time is fast spent. Thank you all for joining in today. I believe it has been a fruitful section. If you agree with me that it's fruitful, you can just give a thumbs up. And I really want to appreciate Annette for taking her time to join us. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you for everyone that has spoken. Femi, thank you. James, Demi, everyone that have joined in today. Thank you. And I wish you the very, very best in your application. I pray the favor of God will find you and your applications.